Okay, I'm still on the AR screen just because I wanted to point out a bug. You remember when I saw Kemper get either killed or wounded? I can't remember which. If you actually look at the officer list, you'll notice that Kemper is not in the list. And I think that's because the 2-2 assault artillery was destroyed, and I guess officers of destroyed units do not appear in the wounded dead promoted list, which seems odd. So I submitted that as a bug. It's the CW bug. Okay, so we're going to press OK and move on to the camp screen. Got a medal, yay. Alright, these are the rewards of the battle. 15 reputation, 13,000 recruits, so we actually came out of that a little bit ahead. We get Longstreet, who's a lieutenant general. We got 929 additional recruits from capturing the supply wagons, that's good. And 162,000 bucks. So, all in all, not a bad outcome, even though we took so many casualties. So we're going to save this. Go to the career screen now. This is where it starts to get interesting because I've got 8 points in politics. I could throw more money into politics, or throw more points into politics, get it maxed out, keep my army. But what I'm actually feeling like is the constraints on the number of weapons that I'm able to buy or able to obtain really seem to be the key to holding back my army, essentially. So I am going to put both of these points into economy to try to increase the amount of weapons that are showing up in the store so I can expand my army a bit and get them better equipped. And I realize that it's potentially an issue. We're giving up recruits and money here, but I don't see any other option if we want to keep these guys going. Alright, we'll deal with Johnston first. A lot of promotions. So interestingly, the Tredegar unit came through with only 17 casualties. Even though the other 2 artillery units got beat up, they did extremely well. They must have either been out of range or they just weren't a priority for the Union artillery. So this guy got apparently promoted. Let's see if we can add some guns. Yeah, I can run him up to 16 guns, which will cost me 20,000 bucks. Hold off on that. But we will get him back his 17 guys. His firearms is now 61. The 1-2-1 assault survived, so what's going to end up happening is they're going to inherit the 24-pounders. We've got 11 in the armory. So this guy's a major, so he can hold at least 4, or at least 8, maybe 10, maybe 12. Okay, so we'll go with 12. Give him yeah, that's rough. It's very expensive, but it's probably worth it to keep him up and to give him his bonus. Alright, so that leaves us with 2 artillery units, unfortunately. The snipers, we've got 124 rifles, so they will get 124 veterans. Which was them back up to 395, which isn't too bad. You'll notice that the reason I'm doing that is these guys had 927 kills, 526 losses. Snipers units are small, but they are very, very efficient, even when they try to run into melee and lose a few guys. So the better I can make these guys, particularly improving their firearms, the more effective they'll be. And now we'll bump these guys back to full strength. We're buying some MJ&G here is probably not any way to avoid that, although we've got 2,000 Springfields in the armory, which means, or the 1855s, I mean, which means somebody can probably get some 1855s. And there's another 1,700 in the store. That's a grenadier unit. They're probably going to stick with 1842s. Somebody. These guys can get 1855s. And that means we can probably either bring up another rifle unit or start transferring those Mississippis down to the grenadier units. They're not bad melee weapons, although I haven't really done well with utilizing my grenadiers the way they're supposed to be utilized. Oh, AT's got a promotion here. So, choices at Lieutenant General are larger aura radius, more speed on the attack, and note that this applies to units that are only in his radius, or more cover and plus firearms. So I think in this particular case we are going to choose the larger aura because that allows him to have influence over many more units and also allows him to keep up with the cav easier. Alright, so I think we've yeah, we're going to end up buying some Springfields. Not much we can do about that. They're not too expensive. We've got Mississippi's left over from that other unit, so that's more or less free. Oh, and we have some leaders to replace here. Let's see what we've got available. Got Longstreet available, who's a major general. I'd really prefer to have him at the division level. We're going to end up having to move some of these generals around. So let's put Burns in charge of those guys. Parker in charge of those guys, and we'll bring up a new. No, we'll bring up a lieutenant colonel for that unit. Archer's now a major general, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna swap in Longstreet for him for a minute and promote Archer to command of 3rd Division. And then we'll swap Early in as the leader of 3-1 Shock. Swap out AP Hill. I'm going to send AP Hill to 2nd Division. There's one other, I thought there was one other major general. The sniper leader. I think actually we're going to leave Wraith in that position. He's a strong leader. He hasn't gotten killed yet. And then for 1st Division, put Longstreet in as 1st Division. That gives me some generals. And what we can do is swap that guy out. Toss our rookies in here. Infields. Notice that even though I've followed this policy of applying rookies, these units are getting to be pretty good. They're only 1 star, but their stamina's up to 56. The firearms is not great, but they're not in incredibly bad shape. The grenadier units are not doing as well, partially because I'm not using them the way they're supposed to be used, just for melee assaults. But give these guys just enough veterans to keep them from tipping over, which is not cheap. Fortunately, with the Lamats, we were able to refill those guys. Don't know that I can give these guys 200,000. No, not quite enough. go sell some paraguns. Yeah, we can't fill them up. So. We're going to get rid of the rest of these 6-pounders because we're not going to use them. Dump the paraguns. Let's see if there's anything else we can get rid of. We definitely want to keep those. Yeah, there's not a lot to work with. It's possible we could burn some reputation here. Oh boy, look at these choices too. $500 Lamats would help greatly. Let's see what we can do here with getting these guys back in position. Okay, they're up. I really would like to get rid of these Cooking Brothers. They are not great. I don't think I have the money for it. I don't think we actually have enough equipment. Well, okay, we could get 1861s for 20,000 bucks. Yeah, we can't get enough. Stuck with the Cooking Brothers. It's unfortunate. I'm going to create a new division in 1 corps here. And the reason is because I want to shift some of these Grenadier units out of 2 corps for the moment anyway. Okay, that takes care of that. The reason I'm doing that is because I want to start splitting up my support and shock cavalry. I don't have the money for it right now, although I could probably get it, but I'm going to eventually want a support division and a shock division on the offensive. And I think, well, what we can do is go ahead and set up a Whitworth unit. Yeah. So interestingly, what I need right now, there's 26,000 men in my pool, and what I need right now is money and weapons. So I am gonna blow 22 reputation to get some money, and I'm also going to pull in these Lamats. So that we can start building out these units. Can't use my TSs yet, don't really have enough guys. But we can get a full-size unit of Whitworth snipers, which would be excellent. Yeah, he's losing a little efficiency, but we can live with that. So that puts it, unfortunately, that puts us back down to 30 reputation, which is not great. But no morale impact, so we can survive that. And we will go ahead and convert these guys. Oh, no, we can't. They will stay cooking, brother. We will create another cavalry brigade. This time with a brigadier general.
Sir, yes, sir!
They will have pattern 1861s. It's 728. And I don't think we have... Probably sell the Maynards. We'll never get enough of them to comprise a decent sized unit. But we could build another shock unit with 1855s because there's plenty of those. And we might want to replace that artillery unit. Pharaoh. No, we're not, because we can't afford it. That's probably alright. We are going to build out another infantry brigade here. Like that Telepharaoh. They're going to inherit those Mississippis. We simply don't have enough of anything to build another unit. Except possibly for artillery. Really gonna need another division here. So probably AO after the next battle. But this is not a bad setup. We've got 15,000 we can probably throw into supply. And that means we're ready for what's next. And what's next is 27 August, 9 August, looks like Cedar Mountain. Having one Malvern Hill, it's minus 7% of the enemy army size. That's interesting. And as I recall, Cedar Mountain is a relatively easy battle, but we'll find out. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys.